I came here a bit of a cynic or maybe a skeptic. Yes, an MBA. One thing, having worked in advertising before coming into the MBA, you've worked with different clients across different types of industries. There's a false sense of having seen it all. So I came in with the perspective of what is the new thing to see or learn here, right? And for me, finishing the MBA. There was actually a booklet that was produced. I got lucky to be featured, where we pretty much wrote down our experiences. So it was like a transcripted version of this interview, and I called it a bundle of unexpected benefits. Interestingly, it was while we were having chit chat before the recording started that Nono pointed out to me that, I met my wife here. So for me, I think that's the biggest thing out of LBS, and I mean that makes it really personal and very significant for me.
Found love.
Yeah.
The company I got into came to LBS for a career fair, and so I got to write the exam, did the interviews, all while I was still here. So I got my offer letter when my program hadn't even finished, right? So I literally never had a time where I was jobless. So when I eventually left my job years down the line, I chose to just take time off because I'd never really had any time of rest. I was always working. Right, so but then I went from this fantastic career because I worked in the first multinational and then moved to another one and then was there again for a couple of years before I chose to start my own. I started my company while still at the multinational, so it was like a part-time or side gig, like people would say. And then 3 years in, I chose to resign and go full-time in my own thing. And I feel like having an MBA gave me the courage and confidence to know that I will not fail, right? Because it's very difficult when you have a good job. It's easier when you're jobless to start a business and like, it's good, I'm hustling. It's difficult when you're earning good money. I was paid very well to say, keep your money. I want to go out and start my own thing and I know I will do well. But I think because I had this knowledge and this education, from LBS, I knew that there was no business problem that I could not tackle. And even if I could not, I had a wide range of resources from my class and even classes that were before me and after me.
I've always been a very structured person with my life. Like at every point in time in life, I knew what I wanted to do. It was like one of those weird people that when you meet, you're like, what do you want to do? And she knows exactly what it is she wants to do. So I started out working at LBS as a research assistant to own my research skills. Afterwards, I spent a year in LBS, then I left, went to the industry, worked in a couple of roles. And then at a point in time, I knew that, okay, I'd ticked box A and box B, and now it's time for box C, which is to start an MBA. So I applied. And I applied here. I also applied to some other schools, but I got convinced that maybe LBS was the right pathway to go. And luckily enough, LBS gave me a scholarship. So that also made it really super great and interesting to be here. And if I tell you that the dream I had, which was to become a management consultant, was trashed in my first year going to second year, because ideally we do internships between year 1 and year 2, and I actually got into Accenture, right, as a consultant intern, if you like to call it. And I spent 3 months, and after 3 months, by the end of the first month, I was like, no way on earth is this for me. And I felt it was quite interesting because I felt like I had planned the last 3 years of my life to get to getting an MBA and getting to this point. And then I got to that point, and then it was sort of an interesting phase in my life. But luckily, again, LBS did help me navigate beyond what it is that I had learned and what it is I thought I wanted to become. And at the point where I got there and it was supposed to feel like life was coming crumbling down because everything I'd worked for had sort of like changed now that I'm experiencing it, LBS did help me navigate again a change in trajectory in terms of what it is I wanted to do.
I think before LBS, I've actually have a different orientation about money making. I've always felt that it's all about the profits, focus, but I've never known that it's all about more of value that you bring on board. And I remember when I was taking all my entrepreneurship classes, like Dr. Hetty was actually very keen on chasing value and helping your business grow far more than you could ever think. But I think we always had a running battle where I said, no, it's a very competitive, complex, dynamic environment that we do business here. So it's like a winner take it all. But I remember when I chose to start chasing value in terms of modeling some of our business concepts, like our Unity Door, where we're promoting culture, highlighting the challenges of the girl child education. I mean, today we would say that we've actually grown the business far more than we ever expected, because there was this focus on value and value creation that I actually got to learn from LBS. Before LBS, I wouldn't actually boast of huge chorus of friends, quality friends, but then being in LBS has actually been one of those places where I set up and build this kind of friendship that I feel are very impactful, helpful, business-wise, personal, and in every other form. Even my spiritual life, it's been actually impacted by the LBS experience.